Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today we are talking about Smile 2. This film is written and directed by Parker Finn, who also wrote and directed The First Smile. Speaking of The First Smile, I just saw that movie like 5 days ago. It came out in 2022. We had covered it on our podcast as we would kind of dive into how successful it was doing box office-wise, because it was supposed to go originally to streaming, which would have been a terrible idea. But I just watched the first one 5 days ago. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good little horror movie. I kind of had the same expectation going into this one, and I gotta say, I was very pleasantly surprised with Smile 2, to the point where I think it is better than Smile 1. Neither film is perfect, and I think both have similar flaws, but I do think those flaws were more prevalent in the first Smile than in this film, hence why I like it a little bit more. Let's start off with the positives. Naomi Scott, oh my god, she fucking crushes her performance. She owns this movie, every frame. She does such an amazing job. The supporting cast is good as well. The atmosphere is still that creepy vibe that the first movie has. And I gotta say, Parker Finn really stepped it up directorially in this film. The First Smile isn't poorly directed at all by any stretch, but I think the difference here that I found interesting is that the First Smile really dealt with what was in the frame, kind of the mise-en-scene. This film demonstrates the actual manipulation and movement of the frame and how it can create this different eerie vibe that's in the same world as the First Smile, but is also its own unique style. The movie actually opens with a really cool one-shot sequence, which I think I found 2 hidden cuts. Maybe there's just one. I don't know. Either way, it was incredibly well done. And that staple is throughout this film. I also really liked the expansion of the story in this film with it going to like an international pop sensation. That made it more interesting story-wise. It made the stakes seem a little bit higher. And something that I love about the first film that's also prevalent in this film is the fact that it's basically trauma as a plague and how it spreads and through this entity, the Smile entity. And it dives into that theme even more in this film, and similarly to the first film, in that the main character in the first film's arc, you kind of get more information revealed about what exactly happened with the lead character throughout the film and how it can really change how you view their journey as it goes. This movie is, of course, not without its jump scares. There was one jump scare in Smile 1 that really got me, that I thought was a really excellent jump scare. There's 3 or 4 in this film that are very well done that did get me to jump. But luckily, the movie doesn't fully rely on jump scares. There are plenty of atmospheric and creepy scenes in here as well that make it for a very satisfying horror experience. Going a little bit into the negatives, I do think that the film does have some script problems, as did the first one. The script problems are to varying degrees, and what I mean by that is there are moments in the film where characters kind of say obvious dialogue, just in case the audience didn't get it, and, it was pretty clear what was going on, and then characters would still say what's happening, which can get really annoying if you're trying to establish a tone of a very, scary, high-stakes sequence, and then the character just keeps blouting information that is already obvious. From a sequence of events perspective, the ending is going to be incredibly divisive on this film. Personally, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't fully love it either. I'm kind of mixed on the ending. The actual last scene is amazing, and it's kind of what you hope the movie is building up to. I think the build up to the moment, though, could have been done better, but the actual final scene was great. There are going to be people who feel betrayed by how you get to that final scene through the storytelling, but what it does is not inconsistent with lore and what has been set up in the previous film. So while it didn't do anything that was too crazy or outrageous, there are going to be people who felt that they were led astray to believe a certain thing and then had the rug pulled out from under them, but not in a good way. Again, I'm kind of mixed on it. I enjoyed aspects of it. Other aspects I thought were a little bit of annoying in the moment, but then it made sense upon reflection. But it doesn't take away how you feel when you're watching it. So again, the ending is a bit divisive, but the actual last scene was awesome. And if they do a Smile 3, I hope it mentions the implications of the final scene of this film. I'm very happy that I caught up on the first one and was able to see this film as well. I hope they make a Smile 3. I think this is a nice, solid little horror franchise they have going for them, and I'm really glad they released them theatrically. Streaming would have been a nightmare. And while each film does have, some script issues, I think directorially, Parker Finn nails it. Both movies, especially this film, the shot construction, the cinematography, the way that each scene fits the tone and how it looks visually was incredibly well done by Parker Finn and deserves all the credit for that. Once you've seen Smile 2, what did you think about it, and what did you think of the first movie? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next review.